Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a late night edition of Light Sports Ramvble. Really my pleasure to come to you tonight. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you know this was my 12-hour work day. My brain is just mush right now with work stuff. But I'm always there to talk about sports, so it is with great pleasure that I get to talk tonight and ramble for about 15 minutes about football. This is my relaxing time on the way home. It's going to be great. Two things I want to talk about tonight. One is last night's game, Jets-Falcons. Second, of course, is the power rankings. As always, I have discrepancies with the power rankings, wondering why they're doing this, how you can put a team ahead of that team, and you'll hear me rant about that. But let's talk about last night's game, the Jets and the Falcons. And I know for a fact that only about 3 to 4% of the public thought the Jets were going to win last night based on the ESPN pick'em game. I mean, it was outrageous. So that small percentage that picked this game, kudos to you. And I may watch you on the show on Friday for my upset picks because, oh my God, I did not see the Jets going to Atlanta and beating the Falcons. That had to be one of the biggest upsets of the year so far. They went in and played one heck of a game in Atlanta, where Atlanta is traditionally tough. And that is the first time in Matt Ryan's career that he has lost back-to-back home games. It's unbelievable. So, why are the Jets playing so well? Well, one, that defense is playing very well. You know, I thought last night might have been one of the worst performances they played all year. But it was still a good, solid effort. But I think that defense is playing very well, being able to pressure the quarterback. Secondly, Geno Smith has matured week to week and is getting better every week. I mean, last night, 80% completion percentage and 3 touchdowns. One of 3 Jets quarterbacks ever to do that. The other 2, Chad Pennington and Ken O'Brien. So Jet fans, I think you found your quarterback. If he can stay on pace and continue to mature week to week, you've got one great quarterback sitting there. I mean, the guy has brought them back already 5 games into his young career and put them in positions to win. That's some good stuff. And the third reason the Jets are doing so well is I'm going to give some credit to Ryan. He has that team believing in themselves. Flat out believing that they can go out and compete. And I think they're having fun, and it shows. Something I think that has lacked. I think Rex Ryan has taken control of that team and said, let's just have some fun. And that's what they're doing. They believe in themselves, and they're just going out, them against the world. And with that in mind now, they're only 1 game out of first place. Is it too soon to talk playoffs? I don't think so. Because of the 4 teams in that division, I think they have played the most consistent of all 4 teams, including the Patriots. They have played the most consistent. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I'm saying they're playing some really good football right now. And that's good stuff. Now, what's wrong with the Falcons? Oh my God, 1-4. All I'm reading about is push the panic button, push the panic button. Now Julio Jones is hurt. That's huge. Because Roddy White's coming off of an injury. Steven Jackson is hurt. If you want to push the panic button, push the panic button. But let's be real. The season is not done. There are still 11 games left. And with the way that the NFC is rounding out right now, they're literally only 2 losses back in the loss column from being in the playoffs. So, fans, if you want to push the panic button, go ahead and do it. And I mentioned this earlier in a ramble last week. If that's how you're going to be and you're going to give up on your team, then give up on them and move on to a different team. Yeah, are there some problems in Atlanta? Oh yeah, there are some big problems. The injury bug is there. The losses are there. But come on. They have a good, solid group in Atlanta. Can they weather this storm, get back on track? I think so. Is it going to be easy? Oh no, not going to be easy at all. But if they ever needed their loyal fan base, now is the time. It's not like you don't have talent to go out and win games. Now, are they going to win 11 in a row? Probably not. Can they go 8-3? Maybe. That would put them at 9-7. Might be tough to get into the playoffs. But that's the funny world of the NFL. We don't know what's going to happen. What if they do win 11 in a row? Then those fans after week 5 that gave up and wanted to push the panic button, sit on your hands and don't cheer for them ever again. But yeah, there's some problems. Red zone offense is a huge problem. I thought they actually overcame that last night when they scored the late touchdown. But it's still obvious. A lot of work to do on that red zone offense. In between the 20s, they're moving the ball up and down. They get inside the 20 and they suck. If they can fix that and start punching the ball in for touchdowns, a lot of the problems could be solved. Because then you put some more points on the board. The defense has to tighten up. I just gave props to the Jets, but come on. That offense is not a juggernaut. You should have been able to stop them in the last 2 minutes of the game. And you didn't. You got to step up. You got to play tougher. But by no means do I think the season is over in Atlanta. Now, I think the division title is out of reach. But I still think you have an opportunity, if you play some good football, to be able to sneak into the wild card. And maybe you're one of those teams who starts off slow, finishes strong, and you make some noise in the playoffs. Now, with that said, let's talk about the power rankings. I'm okay with 1 and 2. I'm okay with the Broncos and the Saints. And I got to flip my light on in the car just so I make sure that I know exactly where everybody's ranked. Yes, Troy does not have a photographic memory. But 1 and 2, Broncos and Saints deserve 1 and 2. And now here's where my discrepancies start to fall. Just because you were ranked somewhere last week and you get a win does not mean that you necessarily move up. Or if you lose, does that mean you necessarily move down? No, you got to look at who are the best teams. Winning a game does not automatically mean you move up in the rankings. And that's where my first discrepancy is. I understand the Chiefs are having a fairy tale first 5 games. 5-0. Nobody thought 5-0. Even myself. I think the Chiefs can make the playoffs. I said it in the preseason ramble. But I didn't think they'd be 5-0. But I don't think they're the third best team. I think the team that just beat the Seahawks, the Indianapolis Colts, are the third best team right now. End of week 5, they're number 3. I don't even think the Chiefs are number 4. I think the Seahawks, who just lost, are still better than the Chiefs after week 5. So let's start to look at the body of work, folks. Just because you lose doesn't mean you have to move down all that much. Now, the Chiefs are good, but I think they should have stayed idle at 5. But my biggest problems are still coming. This is probably the biggest one of all. How can the Patriots be ranked 6th and the Bengals ranked 8th? Or am I just living in a different world? But I thought on Sunday, New England went to Cincinnati and the Bengals dismantled them and manhandled them in all phases of the game. Or am I wrong? Am I just dreaming that happened? So how can the Patriots be ranked higher than the Bengals? The Bengals need to be ahead of the Patriots. Now, you can argue this, where I'm going to go. But for sure, they got to flip-flop. The Bengals should be 6. The Patriots should be 8. Now, the 49ers are in between there at 7. And even if you put the 49ers at 6 and the Bengals at 7, I'm okay with that. But no way are the Patriots ahead of the Bengals. Not after what I saw on Sunday. Now, that could change next week. But let's true the rankings up. After week 5, there's no way the Patriots are a better team than the Bengals. No way. And it just continues after this. The Ravens are at 9. I'm okay with that. But now you have the Bears at 10, the Packers at 11, the Lions at 12. I'm okay with the Packers ahead of the Lions because they just beat them. And they did outplay them at Lambeau Field like they have for the past 22 years in Wisconsin. Will it be a different game in Detroit? Yes. Calvin Johnson will be back. The game will be in Detroit. Totally different game. But after week 5, the Packers are a better team than the Lions, in my opinion. But how are the Bears ahead of either of those teams? They just dropped their second straight game, and one of those losses was to the Lions. So you need to move the Packers to 10, the Lions to 11, and the Bears to 12. Now, there are 2 positives here. One positive, the Cowboys moved up 3 spots after their game to the Broncos. That is some good props because I think they deserve that. The Cowboys played one heck of a game, and it was a great game. And the Jets moved up 4 spots, and they deserve that. So, with that said, folks, I hope you enjoyed the ramble tonight. Catch me tomorrow. I'll see you at the next red light. Enjoy the night.